Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be going over the basics of team play in Valorant. And while I call them basics, this is stuff that isn't very basic. I see a lot of high immortal players struggle with this stuff, and it's very, very frustrating as somebody who understands these concepts to have players on his team that don't understand these concepts and outright ignore them. So we're going to be going over them. I'm going to be teaching you guys a little something about team play, and hopefully at the end of this video you guys are going to understand the game a little bit better. So let's get started. So the first thing that we're going to be talking about is playing contact. And you've probably heard pros say this on their streams when they're playing ranked. They'll say something like, I have first contact, or peek off my contact. And what that basically means is this. So playing contact means the guy who's calling that he has contact has the first shot on the angle, right? So a common bait and switch setup that people will do on Ascent at B main is they'll have a guy playing an op right here, and he'll hold this angle with an op. And then at the start of the round, you'll have your rifler cross to the left side of B main silently, and he'll sit here and hold this angle. So what happens is that the attacking team swings B main, right? And the opper shoots at the first guy, and now they are pre-aiming B main because they are worried about this opper re-peeking, so they're holding the angle. And when they swing, the guy who crossed B main has second contact and shoots at the players wide swinging, right? So it's like a bait and switch setup. It's a bang bang 1-2 play. That is first and second contact. That is the basics of that. You can do the same thing at A main. This is pretty common at A main. You will have a guy holding this angle, and then a guy go wide, and this guy shoots first, they swing on him, and then you shoot second and you kill the other guy. And then what happens is the guy who shot first maybe gets one pick and then falls back, and then when this guy shoots, you play off of his contact and you swing after he shoots and you re-peek. So now we're going to talk about playing off of contact, like I just said. So peeking off of contact is when you are holding a angle and you ask for your teammate to peek when you shoot, basically. That's all it is. So say somebody's playing lever and they have a teammate in market. This guy playing lever, and market's commonly smoked off when a B execute happens. So this guy lever calls to the guy market, hey, swing through the smoke on my contact, or peek off my contact, whatever. So when the attacking team comes out of B main, this guy starts shooting at them, and he maybe gets one kill. And then what your market guy should do is as soon as he hears the guy lever shooting, he swings through the smoke, and he fights afterwards. The whole point of these contact plays is to mess up the enemy team's crosshair placement when they're trying to fight. So like right here, they swing, they're holding this, and they get peeked from there. They have to look how far they have to move their crosshair. And then here, if somebody's tucked, say this first guy dies and his teammate comes to trade him, so he's aiming over here. This guy's aiming to the left, the guy swings out of market and he shoots him in the back of the head. So it's like a ping pong bang bang play in order to mess up the enemy team's crosshair placement and keep them confused while you are fighting them. Something to note, if you are calling for somebody to peek off of your contact, you have to make sure that you're playing an angle that when they peek, they can see. So you can't play an angle like this and call for your guy market to peek off your contact, because if you're peeking like this, then you could get swung from left side B main and die, and the market guy can't trade you because if he swings, he can't see the angle that you just died from. So you have to make sure that if you are asking for your teammate to play off your contact, you have to make sure that your teammate will be able to see the person when they peek. That is very, very important, and that is the most important thing to note when asking for somebody to play off of your contact. So let's move on to the next thing. All right, so the next thing that we're going to be explaining is Crossfires, and this is probably the most simple and basic and easiest to understand, but even in Immortal Ranked, I see people break Crossfires all the time, and it is very, very tilting. So we're going to go over it. For example, we're going to be using probably the most OP post-plant Crossfire in the game on a bomb site on Haven, and it is the Graffiti to Hell Crossfire. A Crossfire is basically when you and your teammate can both see the same angle as the enemy's peak. So the Crossfire in action is one person plays tucked in Graffiti, and the other guy plays under Hell and holds it like this. So when your guy Graffiti is shooting at somebody, you are also shooting at them. And the number one mistake that I see people make with Crossfires is this guy who is Graffiti If you are in graffiti, you will die. Just accept it. You will die. You are going to get traded. But the whole point is that this guy who is playing under hell with you is going to get the other guys. Like the people that are swinging you will not be looking at your teammate, and they will be shot in the back by your teammate. So the number one mistake I see is this guy who's playing graffiti. He'll get the first kill on the people swinging out of CT spawn, and then he's like, oh crap, the enemies know where I am. I have to swing to try and catch them off guard. No, stay tucked, hold the crossfire, and let your teammate trade you. Don't get your first pick and then swing wide and give up your life for free without letting your teammate be able to trade. Because once you swing wide like this, somebody back here in CT can kill you, and your teammate who's playing under heaven, who was holding the crossfire with you, cannot trade it. And now you go down after only getting 1 for 1, and the enemies know that this part of the crossfire is broken, and they're like, okay, now we can double swing the guy who's under hell. So don't break crossfires, stay holding it, and do not int for your team. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. All right, next thing. All right, so the next thing that we're going to be talking about is playing man-down situations. So say you and your team rushed up long C, you did a C rush, and you lost out on the trades 3-2. So now it's a 2v3, and you and one teammate are alive, and you know there is 2 guys garage and 1 guy CT. What you can do is you can call for your teammate, hey, come fight this guy CT with me, and the 2 of you take a 2v1 and try and kill that guy because he's isolated from his team, and make it a 2v2. Or say you have like good timing, you can try and solo push and take your 1v1. But pushing out lanes and taking aggressive gunfights in order to try and even up the odds is actually good when you're in man-down situations, because you're trying to catch the enemy team off guard with something aggressive and even back up the odds. So the opposite sort of logic applies to people on defender side. Say it's like a 2v4 or something like extreme like that. You should be expecting the enemy team to push through and try and find a pick onto you, like somebody who's isolated from the rest of the team, to try and even up the odds. So maybe you want to play like more defensive and hold the push throughs until the bomb is planted. That's why you wait for your team before you retake. So that is how you play in man down situations. And you could even apply this to playing man up situations when you have numbers advantage. Numbers advantage is just all about getting the trades, right? You don't want to take 1v1s because you have man advantage. So it's okay if one of you dies as long as the enemy gets traded. It's just all about playing for trades. So let's move on to the next topic. All right, so the final thing that I'm going to be talking about is when to help your teammates in sight. And I see this happen a lot of the time, where say the attacker side team is running an execute onto say B bomb site. They smoke off CT, they smoke off elbow, and you have say a teammate who's still alive in tube and fighting, right? And the enemies know he's in tube and he's fighting from tube, right? If you're smoked off and your teammate is still alive fighting from tube, then you want to get into sight to help him. You want to run through this smoke and you want to fight with your teammate, because you're probably going to catch the enemy team off guard because they know that there's a guy in tube, so they're like tunnel visioning on him. They're trying to come trade him, and you swing through the smoke and you help fight with your teammate. You can like, say you're playing Raze or something, you can like nade right side sight for him. You can boombot through the smoke and then swing through something. But you need to get into sight. You need to use utility to get yourself into sight in order to help your teammate fight and continue fighting in sight. The thing that you don't want to do, you don't want to come to sight, rotate, see that your teammate's still alive, and then just go, oh, well, there's a smoke, I can't come through, I can't help you. And your teammate goes down in sight, and like either he gets 0 and he goes 0 for 1, or he goes 1 for 1, and now you lose the sight because your other teammates had died and the last fighting guy has already died as well. So make sure that if you have teammates alive in sight and kicking, they're alive and kicking in sight, you get in there and you help them fight with your utility. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up for this video. I feel like this is a lot of really good basics for new players, and even more like higher ranked players who have good mechanics but just don't understand team play at all. I feel like this video will help them as well. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to drop a sub and a like if you enjoyed the video. And by the way, I stream every day on Twitch from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check me out there and come stop by, say hi. So yeah, Hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.